welcome to Death by Exile podcast, episode 3. So hopefully we got in contact with God. If y'all saw the title of the last episode, and we think he done did it, and we fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
He says we're on the path of righteousness. So
I don't know.
that's what I got away from it.
I don't know about all that.
He says everything you do is right.
You are all Uber Mitch. Or what is
Uber Mitch, German, Uberman, English, God's language, as
but
he
then
told
again,
us.
I really think about how the type of people we are and the type of people we hang out with are, and I think we might be the baddies.
No.
No.
How bummed would you be if like you went if there is a heaven, like you died and like they accepted you into heaven, and he's like speaking like some kind of caveman language, and then you're just like, fuck, I gotta learn this shit now. Like,
yeah, it's not the religion that's wrong; it's the language that's wrong.
there's a language barrier.
Yeah, we all got the language wrong.
And he speaks like in a cave in pantomime, like you eat this.
I should
Throw a rock.
I should have practiced my one
Rock.
grunt. My one grunt.
It's a series of grunts. Oh, then Anthony will be perfect up there. So he speaks in grunts. He's like, yeah. That would piss me off. God talk like Anthony.
That's actually.
He is my Lord and Savior, though, so it would make sense.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
but that would be.
I have a mural of him on my mantle.
That'd be fucking.
He protects my
hilarious.
house.
He's the sanctified protector of this house with his.
Yeah, we came with our own religion one time. It was pretty gnarly.
I think you guys have been listening to too much Comfort Eagle by Cake.
It's like a mixture of like Buddhist and like Norse mythology.
What the fuck?
It's pretty tight, dude.
Are you guys gonna sponsor an event and call it Boarding for Buddha?
No, there was what is it? So basically, what our religion we made up was basically when you die,
you go to hell.
No, you basically go to Valhalla.
Oh shit!
But you have to face trials basically.
Oh, no.
So we made everybody like everyone like falls into the ocean, basically falls into an ocean.
Okay.
It's also part of I also had to explain Barberry Island real quick.
Okay.
Which you never explained last time.
What is Barberry?
Barberry Island is a concept where kind of like Australia, where we take all the prisoners of the world and we put them on an island. Let's say Somalia.
Somalia isn't an island.
Let's say we make it an island.
Okay.
We just trench around it.
We just nuke around it.
We just take everybody that already lives there, and then we just make Barberry Island. So we take all the bad people, prisoners, and we put them on Barberry Island.
Okay.
And then it's just we have cameras everywhere. It's like the Hunger Games, basically.
It's like Manhunt.
And you just watch these people go fucking at each other all day long. Kind of like Death Race.
It's like Manhunt. That's a video game.
Okay, I never seen that, but I don't play video games.
Something Arthur doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't play video games, so I don't really know a lot about video games. But I do watch people play video games, so I learn from there.
Double-edged.
But yeah, that was like you just go to Barberry Island, so for punishment.
All right.
And then my buddy Eddie came up with it. Another great Eddie idea. But I said like it wouldn't work because it'd be like Australia. Like Australia was a prisoner colony that became its own country eventually.
Yeah, everyone chilled.
So I was like, eventually, yeah, like their tribes would form. You know, it'd be barbaric for a while, but it would eventually become civilized.
Yeah, but that'd be generational, bro. We at least get the first generation.
Yeah, I'm saying that, but yeah, for sure, we would get the entertainment, the Running Man version of it.
Hell yeah!
But
dude, you could build a giant racetrack and just have them race.
Death Race.
Death Race.
No, but you got no resources. It'd be like Naked and Afraid.
Oh,
so like you strip them butt ass naked, and the land is barren. There's very few resources. Like,
is it all just men, or are there women too?
Barberry Island, since it's Barbaria, there'll be male and female.
Oh,
it won't be It wouldn't be Barbaria without it.
It'd be like Rome all over.
Because if it was just dudes, eventually it'd be like the Alien 3 movie where they just would like, all right, fine, let's just agree not to butt fuck each other. And,
the first 2 months it'd be a fuck fest.
Yeah, but then everyone would be like, they'd just be like, God damn, we're just all fucking each other, like Jesus
be
Christ,
all raw and shaved.
Yeah, let's just have some like, dude, just have some fucking dignity
and kill each other.
Yeah. But nah. So that's the first concept, Barberry Island. So now you know what Barberry Island is.
Okay.
So basically, you swim to Barberry Island. But the first trial we've made, also all of our friends in the kingdom, I assigned them like they're like little demigod deities. So Anthony's the main god. He's the chicken shaman.
Okay.
So he lives atop the mountain of Barberry Island.
There's a mountain now. All right.
And he's surrounded by chihuahuas, and he uses chickens and their carcass and their blood and bones to like predict the future and stuff like that, and also like grant you like eternal
chicken powers.
He can help you with your eternal. Basically, the Barberry Island is like you get to like Valhalla. You get to fuck around and fight and kill each other all day, and then next day you wake up and you're like all healed and good again. You have a big ass party to celebrate afterwards before you go ham. But yeah. So I think how do we make it? I think friend Dante was the first deity, and he was just like he was like a shitty riptide. He was like a half man, half wave, like Poseidon kind of thing. And like you had to like be able to like make it past them to get to the shore like a fucking reverse baby turtle. instead of fighting to the sea, you're fighting to get out of it. And he would either like grant you passage or fuck on you and drown you. And then just like it'd just be an eternity of you falling back into the water trying to fucking swim, beat him. So that'd be like purgatory. Or the punishment for the wicked. You just fuck with Dante all day. He just drowns you every day until he like either gets tired of seeing your ugly face and lets you go, or he's just like, fuck it, I hate this dude. Keep drowning him.
Keep doing it.
And then the second trial is trial by sand. I think that was Lewis. He was half man, half monkey, with multiple appendages. And he just fucking throws a fucking hail of coconuts at you as you try to make your way to the beach, like fucking D-Day, like he's like storming the fucking beaches of Normandy, and he's just fucking hitting you, knocking you, like killing. Like he's like a super monkey man. So he's got like if he hits you with a coconut, he's gonna kill you.
Okay.
And then boom, your ass wakes up back in the ocean again.
You gotta go all the way back,
dude. Like I said, this is like Darwa, like with Buddhists, like the trial, the trial tunnel of light. But it's more made by us, so it's funner. And then once you get past Lou, who's half, I forgot we gave them names too. I forgot what Lou was, but I remember he was half monkey, half Dante was in control of the water, Lewis was in control of the fucking beach, and then the forest, the last trial you had to go through was, I forgot who that was, but basically he can make the jungle either more denser. Or make a path for you to get to the final like staging ground, which would be like
the Valhalla.
The Valhalla. And if you prayed to Anthony, though, this is like kind of the catch. If you found Anthony as your Lord and Savior, you could basically in like a trance, he could guide you through the obstacle courses.
Oh shit!
Or like teach you, but it's Anthony we're dealing with, so he just be like, you don't got it. You don't got it. No, you don't got it. You're not the one. And he would just like cast you back down. But yeah, and then that's what we made our own religion. We called it, what do we call it? I think we called it Barbaria.
Barberry Island?
No, it's called it Barbaria. Barbaria Island was heaven.
Oh, Barbaria.
But it was surrounded by trials to get there.
You definitely got to package this and like clean it up a little bit. And we could probably pitch this to Pure Flix.
Barberry Island.
Get this as a series on there.
Yeah, and you just when you get there and you get to like your campment, it's just like a fucking skate park, fucking trailer park, paradise. And like during the day you can just do whatever you want, and then at night we have a giant feast, and then like on Sundays we fucking LARP for Anthony.
LARP for Anthony.
But in real, like we would use actual weapons and shit.
Oh shit! Well, yeah.
And we just kill each other, and then when we wake up the next day, and it's like, start the week again.
Hell yeah! I mean, you are in the afterlife. But where does the Hulk fit in that scheme? How would you fit the Hulk in there?
Hulk doesn't belong in there.
That was my poor segue.
We just put him in a lobby. We just put him in put him in like a limbo lobby, like a waiting lobby, and we just play Nirvana's Lake of Fire over the PA for eternity.
Yeah. But that was my shitty segue, my poor attempt of a segue into talking about the Hulk again, because I like what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Hulk, as a concept, I don't understand why. I don't agree with them having to. They shouldn't dumb him down. They shouldn't make him weaker. The Hulk should just be this fucking intense thing that just shows up and just shreds everything.
That's more like the Juggernaut, because the Hulk's supposed to be a good guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he went to the planet of the Hulks and fucked that shit up too. Like they sent him away from Earth.
Juggernaut?
No, I mean the comics. Like he like was too out of control, so they sent him to like Planet of the Hulks. You know, like this planet where he could just fucking like basically that's kind of where that Thor movie kind of picks him up as a That's where he becomes like a gladiator on another planet.
Oh yeah.
But then I mean, also there's also physics to it. The more denser and stronger he would be, like the more heavier he would be.
Yeah.
They would make more. Like that's the one thing. Like they kind of do show them. I mean, it's fucking popcorn movies. It's whatever. But like, that's where the Batman Superman movie makes sense because like they talk about the collateral damage that super beings would cause, and there would be a huge anti super being movement.
Hell yeah.
Because they're just fucking shit up left and right. Like nobody would be like there cheering like go like you would be running in fear because these two fucking demigods
showed up.
Yeah, are going at it and they don't just like when people like just same thing like I like the Pacific Rim movies, but or like the Godzilla movies growing up, but like we wouldn't if there were like Pacific Rim monsters showed up. We would no longer live in cities.
Fuck no.
It wouldn't make any sense.
And we would lose our fucking minds.
We would be like more like
nomadic.
No, we would be like Evangelion. We'd build underground cities.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the surface world, like it just wouldn't be worth it anymore. We would probably have small towns, but I'm talking about like major cities. We would have to go underground.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't make any sense to be on the surface anymore. If there's giant fucking not like you can't manage those things.
Yeah, like, you'd be a fucking target.
City-wide, like these monsters that are half the size of a city, it just wouldn't. Like that's one like they posted about the new Godzilla movie was that this was going to be the biggest Godzilla to date, and I think it was when they showed like the scale. But that means like all the other monsters now have to go that size.
Yeah, it gotta be scaled up.
And so like the King Ghidorah was like retardedly big because Ghidorah is bigger than Godzilla.
Yeah, he's huge.
And he has to be. So if you make Godzilla bigger, then you have to make Ghidorah bigger. And Ghidorah's not even supposed to be from this fucking planet.
Oh yeah.
So then I guess you could make that argument like if he's from a planet that's like the size of Jupiter, which could fit like fucking hella Earths in it, then like okay, I understand that. But
isn't he also sentient? Like he's actually really intelligent.
They all technically are compared to us.
Not Godzilla. Isn't Godzilla just a straight up monster?
No, Godzilla is like he's like the protector of Earth.
Oh, okay.
He's like that's what he's like the king of the monsters. Basically, those monsters are basically like the true stewards of the planet.
Okay.
And that we just kind of came up after they're like they took their law, yeah. But they all basically like fucking fall under Godzilla. Godzilla is the king of them.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Ghidorah killed fucking baby Godzilla. That's why they hate each other. And like
he murked that kid.
And because there's like the baby Godzilla, but then he got murked off. But then I think they retconned it where he didn't. But I think King Ghidorah is supposed to be the first invader of many.
Oh, okay.
Because after him, it's like all it is after that is it's all just Earth invading monsters after that. There is one I think they did where it's another monster that was awoken somewhere in China, and that I think was the last like Earth based
monster
like kaiju. All the rest were like Mega Godzilla, Space Godzilla. There's also alien species that brought their own Godzilla because they learned how to like control their giant kaiju, and they take their giant monsters to other planets so they can take over their worlds and stuff like that. Ultraman kind of follows a similar thing too. Ultraman's like came after Godzilla, but it's like all like the Power Rangers, all that shit is like based off Ultraman, Tiga.
Yeah.
Like that was the first.
The morphin suit, right?
Just the whole concept of like the kaiju franchise of person fighting monsters or robots fighting monsters all came from like Ultraman.
Huh.
Because Godzilla was just monsters versus monsters, and then you just got to see how cool people could make dioramas that look like cities and then blow them up, and then like it was very basic. Like Ultraman was the first one that kind of was like, oh, we're gonna tell like a series story behind it that has to like follow and make sense and stuff like that. Because basically all it was like this guy was Ultraman and he could morph into like a giant fucking like human-sized monster that could fight for humans.
Huh. Did not know that.
Yeah, Ultraman's pretty dope.
Going back, yeah, my cousin hella liked Ultraman. But going back to the original thing we were talking about, how like super beings, if they showed up, would freak people out. Yeah, man, if I was to see on the news that like, oh yeah, half of New York got destroyed by these two dudes fighting in the air, I'd stop paying taxes. I'd be like, fuck this shit.
Do you watch The Boys at all?
I watched the first season, and I'm waiting for the second season to wrap up so I can just watch it in one go.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. That's why I like that show. That show shows like it's more Watchmen like, where it shows how the world would be if there were like superheroes. Like they're not these like imperfect beings, and they would need stuff just like how we need stuff, like fucking funding and stuff like that.
And that's another thing, like the whole purity thing about Superman being like this ultra Boy Scout dude. You know, if you had somebody that had those powers, they would not be a good person.
They might be, no, but you watched the Red Sun Superman where
the communist one,
where he would have fell in Soviet hands and stuff like that, that it could have gone that way.
I don't see it, man.
Yeah.
But if that shit was to pop up in real life, dude, I could see like cults popping up and people. It would be chaos with normal people.
Well, that's like I don't know. I haven't seen the Snyder cut yet, but I think that's what they were trying to push, and like the Batman versus Superman, they're trying to show the cult of Superman. And they do show it in the shot where all those people go like to touch him, like in Mexico or wherever he was, because they're like doing like the Day of the Dead. In that fantasy, Darkseid has taken over, but he uses Superman as one of his generals.
Oh, okay.
So Superman makes the sacrifice that Earth and its population will be spared, but they'll live under Darkseid's rule, and he will like govern the planet. So if you notice, like when Batman, it has that weird premonition. All those dudes it's humans, but it's also Darkseid's. I forgot what they're called. Parademons. Parademons come also, so they all bow to like Superman, like because it's part of like he's like the leader of Earth. Even though they have that giant Omega symbol. That Omega symbol is Darkseid. It's like skewered into the planet like a branding mark. Yeah. That's kind of that's one thing I would really like to see. Is like and I was kind of like fucking bummed about, because that's gonna be like a cool when we get to that point where they show Apocalypse versus Neogenesis, and it's gonna be like in like the animated series. It was a good way to like bring them about, but I don't see how they're gonna do it on TV because it's too much.
Yeah,
like it's this giant war planet next to like a planet that's also like paradise, and they're in a constant like heaven versus hell struggle.
Oh yeah, Doomsday, right?
And then Darkseid,
yeah.
And then showing like how Earth is gonna fit into this, and there's just too much. There's also a technology, like there's something. It's just like like somehow the Justice League has technology that humanity couldn't possibly invent.
But they have it.
And that allows them to like travel back and forth, or it just doesn't It just doesn't. It's
the good old MacGuffin.
Yeah, it doesn't work like the way DC movies work. And they're more gritty, and that's what people like them.
Yeah.
Well, the Marvel movies are the ones that get to take like the leaps because they have the whole. When Marvel movies start coming out, X-Men, Spider-Man, stuff like that. It was like not like Tim Burton cartoony, but it was kind of like a cartoony parody world.
Yeah.
And then as it got more serious with like the Avengers and stuff like that, it still kept you grounded, but it introduced like, oh, this is a world where this is possible, and there's this at the same time. And, there's an entire nation that has hidden technology that you think is a third world country, versus like the gritty Christopher Nolan, Batman. Even the Zack Snyder, like I said, I like that Man of Steel movie. It's a good origin movie, and it does it justice. But Batman vs Superman it should have been their third movie.
Yeah.
It got rushed too much. Wonder Woman is really good. Aquaman is where it goes to like they're trying to copy Marvel super hard.
Yeah.
But it's always been a running joke though about Aquaman being a movie.
Yeah, you can't really do.
So I think what they were given they did something really good because Aquaman's always been a joke.
Yeah.
First of all, how's anyone live why do people live underwater have hair? It makes no sense.
Yeah. Also, Atlantis being underwater and having sea people, so it kind of defeats the purpose of the whole mythos of it being.
But there's also like now because there's like degrees of sea people now too. There's like different offshoots.
Yeah.
The deeper depth you go, somehow they got mutated or they got more fish-like or more.
But I do have to say that Aquaman has one of my personal favorite villains, and that's Black Manta Ray.
My buddy Angel is a big Aquaman fan, and he is like if Aquaman is just as powerful as Superman.
Yeah, he is.
And I was like, fucking Superman would like kill Aquaman. He's like, no, you don't understand. Like in the water, I'm like, yeah, I understand that. Like, all he has to do is like grab that fool and throw him in the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing. Like they never talk about like if there was an evil Superman, like, he would fuck people up in ways that, like the ways that he like saves people and stuff like that. Like it wouldn't even be like. He just would fucking like zap everyone to death.
Yeah.
Or he would just like throw you in the air hella high and then you just die from the fall.
Not even the fall, just if he could throw you hard enough, you would just die from the actual like velocity of throwing you.
The fucking maximal terminal velocity.
Yeah, he could pass he could literally mystify you with just throwing you.
Yeah.
If he wanted to. That's
or he's super quick. He could just
he's so fast.
He just break your fucking neck.
He would be able to kill you before you could even comprehend what the fuck
exactly.
happened.
So I'm like, that's why I'm like, dude, you
But that's why when we were talking about the Hulk, that's what I was telling you. I was like, that's why that being said about Superman is the same thing about the Hulk. Like those two entities are just so beyond normal comprehension. That's what I'm saying. Like if you were to see if Superman had to fight Lord Zod, right? That's the guy's name.
General Zod.
What is it?
General
Zod. They're both the same thing, right? Their fight, if we were to see them actually fight, it'd be like Dragon Ball Z.
Superman has.
You would not see the fight. All you would see is New York just being completely devastated.
Superman has the advantage because Zod wasn't born on this planet.
Yeah,
and I think they do a fucked up. You got, like I said, plot holes make movies go around.
Yeah.
So like they have their like little like atmosphere suits that they wear to like when they come to Earth, and then Zod gets like fucked up. So and then he's like getting exposed, like the same thing with Superman grew. Yeah, Superman had to like learn how to control that shit within years, and somehow they figured it out within like hours span. Yeah. And it's like, no, dude, like
they would have to be undercover for a while.
Like she was like his mom was talking about how he had breathing, like she had to watch him breathe as a child because his body was struggling as a baby to
breathe on the atmosphere.
And the earth. Not only that, just. Yeah,
but I'm just saying though, General Zod is shown to be equal.
So that's always been Zod's. Well, he's not supposed to be. That's his thing.
But in the
he wasn't raised on this planet.
So in the Steel movie, they were fucking up that city, right? Yeah. And they're going toe to toe. That's what I'm saying. Like in the movie, it's a movie.
There's a parallel because there's always in DC. There's always parallel universes. There's a parallel universe where Zod actually won.
Oh shit.
Or Zod. No, he didn't win. Zod escaped to Earth.
Okay.
So not Superman, but Zod escaped Earth. So he became the Superman there and then convinced Wonder Woman to help him. Not enslave, but like put pressure to help rule the Earth.
Yeah.
And make it like one cohesive universe. And then Batman is a vampire for some reason in this universe too. He's like a crime fighting vampire. Like basically he decides to like only hunt criminals.
Shit.
And only suck their blood.
That makes sense. And he really
so it's the three of them basically in a parallel universe where they run the world.
That's dope.
Together, but somehow they only run the United States for some reason.
Because baby, we're the only world that matters.
Yes, but like.
No, but like I was saying though, like a fight between those two beings and people seeing that, yeah, civilization I feel like would radically just either stop. People would just stop giving a fuck about reality, or they would It would just be like, yeah, like people would splinter off into tribes and start like worshiping these fucking dudes.
Yeah.
'Cause,
That's
it would be fucking insane, man.
not to segue to that, but that's the comparison between like Starship Troopers the book and Starship Troopers the movie.
Right.
Well, because like in the book, it's more about like showing. So in the movie, Paul Van Hoven, he grew up during World War II and was like in Holland and saw like people being hung and stuff like that for being dissidents and stuff like that, or propaganda spread everywhere. So a lot of people don't realize that. I hope they do, but apparently not. A lot of people don't realize Starship Troopers is about fascists. It's not about good guys versus alien bugs. It's about showing Earth. This is what happens to Earth when it's ran by fascists.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, the people who criticize the movie are just like, oh, it's dumb. Why would you fight? Why would you send people to fight giant bugs with just like amped up M4s?
Yeah.
And they're like, it's like that's the point of the movie, that these kids grow up on nothing but propaganda. Like in the entire movie, when they're in high school, and also those are the most sorry, but the casting on that, most oldest looking fucking high school students I've ever seen in my fucking life. All of them. But you're supposed to believe they're all high school students. And during the entire movie, like his teacher Radchek, is like trying to, ask him about what it means to be a citizen versus civilian, and he even like makes fun of Rico when he's like, that's the exact quote from like the fucking text, like you're verbatim. You don't know what it means. And then when they're doing the dissections too, the teacher's trying to tell them that these bugs are superior to them, and Denise Richards is like, no. She's like, we are superior. We invented like mathematics, science, hyperspace, travel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the teacher's like, no, like these kids are all raised on propaganda that human beings are superior, and that what they're doing, and even their training doesn't make sense if they're training to like take out insurgents. Like if you looked at their obstacle course and they're playing like futuristic laser tag, and they're shooting at like soldier dummies, they're not like trying to fight a war against giant, huge bugs. And they do like, like even like the leaders basically just drop them on the planet, like just basically a giant fucking like invasion, and they're like, yeah, just go, because even the leaders themselves believe that humans are so superior that if we just give them the weapons and just give them basic tactics, like they'll overwhelm these dumb animals.
Yeah.
And then they get fucking slaughtered. And then even like fucking Doogie Howser looks like an SS fucking... Yeah. The intelligence looks like the Gestapo for a reason.
If you want to know more.
Yeah, and exactly. The internet is just like... Not the free internet. It's just all propaganda. It only lets you go so far and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the whole point of the movie is just to show like what happens in if fascism takes over and you just believe whatever the state tells you.
Yeah.
That you would without any fucking hesitation jump on a fucking ship
go fight some giant bugs.
Yeah, and then even if you experienced it and lost, you wouldn't be disillusioned because your leaders would tell you, no, we have a new plan now and we know how to do this, better.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
And it's it doesn't make any sense. Also, it's a population thing. They try to like bring up in the movie like there's more of them than us.
Yeah.
But so like they had to basically throw these dumbass tactics at them just to basically test and see what their reactions would be.
Yeah.
That's why like Casper Van Dien gets pissed at Doogie Howser during when he tells him that. He's like, oh, we expected large casualties and stuff like that. And he's
we
like,
knew some weird shit was gonna happen.
like like we were just testing them out to see how they would react. We don't even know. But in the book, basically, so the book's totally different. It's more about that movie through Paul Van Hoven shows basically the dangers of fascism.
Yeah.
The book is more the opposite. It is what happens to a society if they have a weak military, and the importance of a strong military if you want a strong society.
Yeah, well, you need a military.
So in that book, basically, everyone that's in like the Mullen tree has like Iron Man suits, basically.
Yeah.
Like they're like amped up versions of Iron Man suits, and also it's highly in the movie. Everybody wants to join. Then everybody wants to join become a citizen of the Federation, and the Federation's open arm willing to take anyone and everyone.
Yeah. Well,
The book is totally different. That it is very exclusive to be a citizen, and it's a reason for that, because with the citizenship of privilege of voting and all that stuff and certain leadership roles, they don't want that the entire population to have access to that.
Okay.
And it's very the what they gloss over in the movie, the training camp in the book is like, I think only has like a 5% graduation rate or something like that.
Oh, what the fuck?
Like they weed out hella people. And then the war with the bugs is not the only war they're fighting. They're fighting multiple fronts.
What the fuck?
Almost kind of like 1984, where they're just basically they fight just to keep the population like engaged.
Oh, okay.
Just to be like, look, there's always, we're always. This is why we need to be in power, because we're always fighting
something,
ongoing threats that never end.
Yeah.
And the bug, and they're helping. They're not even they're helping the bug. They're helping another species called the skinnies, like get the bug off their planet when they go attack. So they're not even like at first fighting for Earth. They're just fighting to keep this bug invasion off another planet so they can use their resources and stuff like that.
Oh
and
shit, that would have been
liberate these people. They could have done that movie back then. The technology wasn't there yet.
Oh.
And yeah, actually, it's funny because in the book, his dad becomes like his. In the movie, it shows the sergeant getting demoted and then coming back in as a private, and then being under Rico.
That happens to the dad?
That happens to the dad. The dad actually survived. His mom, basically what happens is his mom gets killed on vacation by a random bug meteorite. Like it hits, like it doesn't take out an entire continent. It takes out like a spaceport or some shit like that.
Okay. And
then his dad, who was like a liberal fucking hippie, anti-war hippie, like in the movie, is like, fuck that. I need to be a real man now. Join the military.
Counteractive.
And him and his dad, basically, like his dad serves under him as a private.
Wow.
And it's like, it's like, this is what happens when you
talking about
become a pussy and you only want to hug fucking trees and stuff like that.
Your wife gets hit by a giant rock.
Yeah.
We got to do ads.
Talking
about bugs. The first ad we got here, let me look through my paperwork. It's going to be Raid, the bug spray.
Yeah.
We got these
ginormous
canisters.
Kill them all.
They're as big as art. They're 8-foot canisters of bug spray. So use the promo code to get one. It's called the promo code is Strange Moon. So use the promo code Strange Moon and you get 50% off of these giant 8-foot cans of Raid.
Yeah.
Any other ads?
I'm drinking. Well, I always promote what I'm drinking. I'm drinking a Truly right now.
Truly, yay.
Getting a little buzz.
He's stumbling and slurring and smashing things on the ground. People, it's great. It's freaking live. But yeah, I guess those are two ads, Raid and Truly. They go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. Raid and can of Raid and some Truly. Huff that shit. Drink that shit.
Can't go wrong with that shit.
Yep.
But yeah, talking about Starship Troopers.
They supposedly are gonna do a remake.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Hopefully.
Let sleeping dogs lie is what I say.
Do you really think so?
Yep.
Oh.
Let sleeping dogs lie.
I'd want to see a remake.
Because all the other Starship Troopers after Paul Van Hoven's are complete shit.
Oh yeah, they are. Also,
the Starship Troopers 2, Starship Troopers 3, all the two animated ones after that.
They're all shitty, right?
They are garbage.
Oh no, I've never seen them. I know one of them has Billy Bong Thornton.
Shut the fuck up! Really?
Yeah.
Is it the third one?
The third one, I think it has him in there.
The third one has. So the second one is them holed up in like a fortress. And then what happens? They have there's like these intruder bugs that like basically can go inside people and like live like hosts and control them.
God.
And then they figured them out and they kill all of them and then there's whatever one survivor. And then the third movie is they bring Casper Van Dien back as Johnny Rico.
Hey.
And they're about to execute him for for treason, and then they like no, we're gonna save you, and we're gonna put you in the giant mech suits.
Oh,
so they actually bring those suits out for the third movie, but they're shit because it's a low budget movie, so they're garbage.
Man,
if you want to see something that I'm not like I said, I'm not a big fan of anime. I think it's a little too what's the word, pervy. Sometimes like it's a lot of
give in to the deviants.
Dude, that's my big thing with it. It's a lot, and that's the culture, or whatever. But it's a lot of it's a lot of young girls in pervy
Hey,
situations.
bro, she might look like a 12-year-old, but she's actually 1,000 years old.
I'm sorry to say I've been to Japan, and even what I'm about to say is a little off color. I don't give a fuck.
No.
Young Asian people look super young.
Oh god.
They look a lot younger than the average 12-year-old. They look extra 12. So when I see shit like that, I'm like, nah. But Blue Gender was like basically inspired by it.
Gender, yeah.
And there's actually a Starship Troopers anime I found on YouTube that's like the book more.
Hell yeah.
And it's like those stories make more sense than what we got
the movies
cinema wise, and then the animated ones are just like video games basically.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is talking about Starship Troopers and the fascism propaganda like programming of their citizens.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good example of like you're taught one thing, that you're taught a thing, and that thing is reality. Like this is how it works. You go to work, you pay taxes, you get married, you have kids, and then you die, get put in a grave, and this is just how it always goes. But something can show up so radically different than your reality allows there to be that it would completely just dismantle your mind.
Yeah, and what's kind of cool.
Fucking Lovecraft talks about that.
What's kind of cool about the Paul Van Hoven's version of Starship Troopers is he shows the Federation as he tricks you with the fact that the Federation is they do not discriminate against gender. Mm-hmm. Male and female fight side by side. And the gender norms are broken down. It's not discriminatory by race whatsoever. There's all ethnicities included in the Federation and stuff like that. But what they gloss over is that they were basically they grew up in Buenos Aires.
Oh, what?
Yeah, they grew up in South America, but they all speak English.
Yeah,
and they're all very Americanized. And then the reason why, because they kind of talked about in the beginning during history class with Ratchek, is that the new founding fathers, as they're called, of the Federation, basically just went on a tear and took over the entire planet.
Oh shit!
So that's why the entire planet is under Federation rule, and everyone dresses the same. Like they all have like the same gear on.
Yeah.
There's still some form of democracy, but like there's public lashings. Like even his dad talks about that. Like he's like, I'd rather take 12 lashings in public square than fucking let you go join the military.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's fucked up because there still is some kind of capitalism involved because his dad and his mom are very wealthy, like elites, and they're still allowed to have their like fucking liberal hippie opinions.
Yeah.
But in reality, they're you never figure out if they're civilians or citizens. But it seems like they're civilians. That they're not actual citizens. So you can still rise up in the ranks a little bit, but all the other people, if you listen to them when they talk about why they joined, none of them joined the military to get like experience or learn how to do anything everything that's involved with military. One wants to go to Harvard because he can't afford to go to school.
Yeah.
So he's smart if he can get into Harvard, but he can't afford to go. The other one wants to have the right to have babies.
What the fuck?
Yeah, she's like, it's easier to get a license for children. So that we already know there's a population control in effect. Do that. One wants to be a journalist, and he's like, you have to work for the press. You have to be a citizen.
Oh shit.
Or everything you write is probably going to be just considered opinion.
Yeah. Wow. So it's very, very controlled. Wow.
So yeah, it's funny. But this is also something I bring up because I like Paul Van Hoven movies, like fucking Total Recall, fucking RoboCop. Yeah. They're always so over the top with violence.
Oh yeah.
But it's because he wants to show you like how it was when he grew up. He grew up in a very desensitized state.
Yeah.
And he's quoted saying too that he thought when he came to the U.S. that his movies were like nowhere as close to like Lethal Weapons and stuff like that. Like he's like everyone says movies are super violent, but he's like, dude, compared to like Lethal Weapon, he's like they're nothing.
Yeah.
He also did he did something I thought was really funny is that the entire movie is a score. Mm-hmm. There's one song in the movie, and it's Mazzy Star.
For Starship Troopers?
Yeah, there's one a credit soundtrack song in there, and it's Mazzy Star's Fade Into You. And it's playing in the background when they have the fight between the because there's a big rivalry between the Mobile Infantry and Fleet, which is like the Navy.
Yeah.
And so the two, him and the other guy that likes fucking her name is her name is actually Carmita.
Oh, yeah.
Not Carmen.
Buenos Aires.
Because they're from Buenos Aires. And in the book, Rico is described as fucking not white at all.
Just a Mexican dude.
Not Mexican.
We're all Mexican down there.
Yeah.
Argentinian, right?
They're yeah. The Federation. But what's Denise Richards is fucking yeah. But yeah, it's playing in the back. It's like the only song that's credited. Everything else is the soundtrack. And then but that is like I always found that I was like, why the fuck did he choose to like? And he kind of puts. You can tell they put the volume up. So I was like, that's really weird that he added fucking Mazzy Star.
Maybe because Mazzy Star wouldn't exist in a fascist state like that.
I think it was funny that Mazzy Star was the choice song for like, you know,
should have been Metallica, dude.
For the bar, for their bar scene, bar fight scene.
Oh no, that's Pantera. Someone's gonna get mad.
Fuck.
But fucking talk. Yeah, Starship Troopers movie. I love that movie.
Well, a lot of people do because he all his movies are good for just like entertain. He always makes entertaining movies.
Oh yeah,
the only movie that sucks is that fucking like that one that ruined that chick's career from Saved by the Bell. The stripper movie. Fucking Showgirls. Yeah,
dude.
He made Showgirls.
I fucking love that movie too. I love that movie,
and
I love Waterworld.
It fucked her career up.
Yeah.
She made no movies. She was like that. I think she's credited saying like that movie like fucked her career.
But
fucked her career up.
I don't even think it's just the movie though. Her acting was just so weird.
Well, the entire movie is supposed to be just like Hollywood movies are super violent. That movie is supposed to be hypersexualized.
But it didn't. It wasn't. It was, but it wasn't.
There's hella tits and fucking ass in that movie.
Yeah, but I mean, like to be hypersexualized, I don't know, like
that's what he was going for. He was trying to tell a story of like a hypersexualized
it just was
place,
flat.
And the fact that she has to make a choice. That she's gonna either go all the way in or fucking get out.
Man.
Because even like when she reaches her like stardom, like her top at the end of the movie, she's like. The dude gives her fucking like I think it's the guy from fucking Twin Peaks, right?
Yeah. That
the mayor of Portlandia. I can't think of his name.
The dude always reminds me of Stefan from Pavement a little bit.
Yeah, but he's he like basically tells like he's like either gonna like this is what you're gonna do, you're gonna sign my contract, or you can just fuck off and be a stripper again, And, yeah, Paul Van Hoven, he's a badass.
I'm with the titties in this town, you hear? But I was gonna say another thing. I was gonna say is fucking Total Recall. That movie is so good. That fucking movie. Every time I watch it, it's always like the first time I'm watching it. I'm always just amazed of how fucking good that movie is.
I try to give the remake a.
No, hell no.
Tried.
Nah, dude. The RoboCop remake, the Total Recall remake, and that fucking The Thing.
I kind of went for the RoboCop remake, but I was like, this has got to be one and done. They cannot do franchise because, well, like I said, we went to the RoboCop rant about RoboCop. They need to teach film schools about RoboCop, like how to make how the first one was a fucking amazing out of nowhere left field success.
Yeah.
The second was fucking terrible, so fucking bad, and the third one was so bad it was good. Like it was so bad it's. Like The Room, it's so bad it's good.
I always forget that there's the third one, but
the third one it's so fucking. I watch it all the time because it's so bad. It's a guilty pleasure movie. It's so bad.
I think I've only watched it maybe one time, and I was
Rip Torn is like I think he's the mayor in that one too.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
But in the third one, that's the one where he flies.
Yes,
right?
it's the one where he gets a jetpack.
Yeah.
He gets a jetpack. He gets an upgrade.
That's the only reason I remember that movie exists because I'll have random thoughts of like
the splatter. The bad guys are punk rockers too. Me and my friend Alex were always talking about this. How like you can see the paradigm shift between when the bad guys in 80 movies were the punk rockers to like the saggy hip hop thugs like from the mid 80s to 90s because that became the new urban threat.
Yeah.
To fucking normie middle America. It was no longer the fucking kids that went and dyed their hair and spiked their hair. It was the saggy fucking hip hop thugs, cholo fucking black kids that scared people now. Like dude, you can see like you can see the trend of like.
Is there any movie where it's like punks versus like gangsters or like thugs?
No.
You don't think so? There should be like some B-roll movies out there. It's like punks versus thugs coming to your town this
I
summer.
mean, What's Up Rockers? Does that count?
I don't fucking know.
I mean, that's really as close as it gets. But no, that's like I'm saying. No, like for villains, like in Terminator when he shows up at the observatory, it's fucking what's his name? He just passed away not too long ago. Game over, man. Game over.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know who you're talking. Yeah, I don't know the dude's name, but I know who you're talking.
We all know his name, but for some reason it's just escaping me right now.
He's in the Terminator as a punk.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He's like the first guy that pops up. Bill Paxton. That's his name. Paxton, yeah. Like you're saying, that was like the threat of, like back then in those movies. Like it wasn't like the hip hop thug on the corner. It was like the white kids with fucking spiked hair and shit like that. That was the threat. They're gonna pull their pocket. They always have fucking pocket knives ready to, like switchblades, ready to go to stab you and be punks. But like in the RoboCop 3, they're a gang of homeless, murderous punk rockers called the Splatter Punks.
Oh yeah, the Splatter Punks. Yeah. And don't they like end up like tearing down? Like
they armor them up. Like they team up with the paramilitary. The PM. No, it's like a PMC. It's a private military corporation.
Oh my god.
They basically, it's just such a dude. If you've never seen RoboCop 3, watch RoboCop 1, skip RoboCop 2, and then watch RoboCop 3, and just be like, Jesus Christ! Like, who cocaine greenlit this movie? Let me tell you.
Yeah, cocaine. Cocaine did a lot of things.
Oh, for sure. So many movies got fucking made because of coke.
I'm pretty sure that's why Sonic has so many games. Coked out Japanese dude.
No, Sonic was basically Sega's fucking way to fight Nintendo.
Yeah, because Sega do with Nintendo.
The dude actually went out to, I think he said he went out to New York and he came up with 3 characters. One was a bunny. One was what was supposed to be Eggman, robot that he basically turned into like the villain. And then one was Sonic, and everybody picked Sonic.
Sonic, yeah.
So that's how Sonic got made. And basically he built the game. He's like, would it be cool if a game was more like a roller coaster? So all the levels in Sonic are supposed to simulate give you the same thrills and like a roller coaster basically. But
I've heard that Sonic, the original games, I don't know how true it is because I never really played the original games. But supposedly the mechanics of Sonic as a game in of itself shouldn't work because going too fast doesn't allow the person doing it to actually enjoy what they're doing. But because it was like a fad thing and it was kind of like a new
thing.
That
frame rate just got built by Nintendo. That FX chip was allowed you to go scroll faster between levels because it used to back like when you had like Atari and stuff like that. The screens would basically you would load to a new level, and then once you cleared the screen for so much of a distance, it would send you to like another loading level, basically.
Yeah. They were saying that because you're going so quick through the level that you technically shouldn't be enjoying the game because you're not getting anything out of it. It's like a roller coaster. Like it's only like 5 minutes of whoa, and then it's over. Like
you're on a rail almost.
Yeah, but they said that's what the guy that it was like a YouTube video. The guy was saying that was like. That's why if you look at Sonic games, they're actually not good games because it's just a rail. Like you're not really playing it. You're just going.
You're collecting coins.
Yeah,
you're getting some out of it.
But because it was new technology and it was at the right moment at the right time, it just was like, oh, everyone loves Sonic. Sonic's a great game. But in a technical,
they were at so Super Nintendo was at 16 and they were at 32-bit.
Yeah.
So they had that chip. That was a little bit better. And then what happened, Nintendo did to fight them with games like Star Fox and SX Racing is that like I said, that FX chip. So instead of buying a brand new fucking system, the chip is in the cartridge. So when you put certain games that have that cartridge in, it's booting up that chip as well.
Yeah,
so it's almost like
preloading everything.
It's almost like a mod to the system.
Fuck.
And then Sega went on even more tear by adding like all those add-ons that made it like a toilet seat.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It looks like fucking ridiculous.
Like the Sega CD games were like the ones that got almost like they're the ones that fucked it up for everybody because they got like sensors into the games.
What?
So there's these games that were built that were basically CDR interactives. What they were, they're basically people record in recording studios these scenes. and then you would have options with the button on what could be the next scene. So it wasn't more of a game as it was really just like a series of choices. Kind of like like what's the Black Mirror version of that on Netflix.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're
like
talking
that.
about.
That's basically what it was.
Yeah.
But some of them were like shitty horror games, and I guess one was like over sexualized. They thought.
Yeah, the one.
Or one was too violent, and so that's what brought the censors in.
You're like taking care of a sorority.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, I forget the name of that game, but yeah.
Just dumb shit like that, and then Mortal Kombat because of like but it's funny because like if you look at Mortal Kombat like from like a developer aspect, like it was really more comical than anything because the heads on the spike were the game developers. And like they were like some of them were laughing, some of them were like you said yeah.
I used to play the original fucking Game Boy, the big white one with Mortal Kombat in it all the fucking time as a kid. I was like fucking 3-4 years old just playing Mortal Kombat. Yeah, it was great.
But I
didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, it's just like it's just like Street Fighter except instead of like a comical anime like like finish, you're gonna get the option to rip someone, and that was like more of a fad of anything because then they came out with like babyality and like friendship and all that stuff and like.
But that's what I was saying about the whole Sonic thing is like early video games were more of a fad thing. Like that's why I could see why adults in that era really didn't take them seriously because they were more of like it's just kind of in the moment kind of thing. But now I mean right now it really solidifies that video games can definitely be like a new storytelling media that actually adds on to culture.
Yeah.
Like if you play Red Dead Redemption, the first one or the second one, that story is emotional and it really does like tax you as a viewer as you're playing it. You're changing, man.
Isn't like Jose Gonzalez like credit with doing like some of the songs on there too?
Yeah.
So you actually have actual music on there.
Yeah. So yeah, I can see where there's like a divergent, because I grew up playing video games.
I have my Super Nintendo still. I have the new one, the modded version.
The little ones.
Because I ain't paying for those games. Fuck that. I got that modded real quick.
Yeah, I have
emulator, son.
Yeah, I have everything on my laptop. But yeah, like when I was.
Did you get that game I showed you?
Nah.
Oh, you got, dude. Telling you, download that motherfucker, dude. That brought me back. That YouTube video. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is what I did.
SD Gundam.
Yeah. X.
Okay.
See, this is like there's a lot of time people like I didn't discover. See, when Final Fantasy VII came out, it was a big thing for people, but I didn't really give a fuck about it because I was like, I played Mario RPG and I didn't like it. That was my first RPG game I played.
Oh shit!
Didn't like it. And then later in high school, when everyone discovered like we're going back to LimeWire that we got. Did we discuss that? We did, but we didn't get.
I think it got
all right,
by the CCP.
We need to talk about that again.
Okay, so that's a point that we have to bring up. Because we're pretty almost close to the second.
But yeah. So basically, when everyone discovered like LimeWire and music downloads and stuff like that. Also, ROM emulators.
Yeah, ROM
emulators. I got a Super Nintendo one, and I played a bunch of Japanese games that never got released in the U.S., like Star Fox 2. That was uncompleted.
Yeah.
Because the entire level wasn't complete until they did the re-release.
Recently, right? Yeah.
They did a re-release, so it's completed. But I played Final Fantasy 4 through 6.
Oh, shit.
This is the first time I played them, and dude, I tell people I got emotionally invested in these games. I cared about what happened to these, and they were just like basic little sprites, and I cared about what happened to these fuckers. I was emotional when I played these games. I was like, oh my god. I was like, I've been missing out all this time. I
had that happen to me with this PS2 game called Zone of Enders, and at that
I love that game too.
Yeah, dude. At that time, I didn't have a fucking memory card, so I could never save it. So I'd always have to start it over again. I got to the last boss. I was at the last boss on that fucking game, and I fucking hiccuped. I stutter-stepped and got killed. Dude, I had the biggest rage moment in my life at that time.
Dude.
Because I was so invested in the story. I was like, I played this fucking game so
Did you play the second one?
Times. No.
I didn't really care for it.
No,
but
I stopped playing
that
game.
kid comes back in the second one.
Oh, really?
He's not the main character, but he comes back. Oh. And he doesn't have the Jehu team no more.
What?
I didn't like, but that's the one thing I liked the fighting in that game. I even liked the versus mode. The whole cockpit literally being the cock. I was like, all right, dude, we can do a little bit better than this.
Yeah. But
giant phallic, fucking cock.
Giant cock.
Everyone pilots their why is everyone just and no one ever
just
fucking
kicks him in the
punches the cockpit legit I'm just gonna rip this robot's dick off, and then the dude inside can't control him anymore and throw his ass away.
He ripped my dick off. I don't think I could control myself either.
They kind of bring it up in the second game though. They do kind of do like a redesign of like some of them.
That's great.
So it's no longer like always in the dick.
But I was gonna say, yeah, after I lost that one time, I stopped playing the game. I got so pissed off. I was so mad at the game that I was like, fuck this game. Never played it ever since.
Kojima game too.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I like the boy's relationship with the pink-haired pixie chick, the enemy. I was invested in that story. Like, I'm gonna beat this bitch. Like, when I get my chance, I'm gonna fucking beat this bitch up.
No, fucking e-girl.
I got killed. After
Fuck
hours.
this e-girl.
Yeah, after
take her
hours,
down.
Man.
Yeah, that game was I got really juiced for the second one. I'm like, all right, getting it. I was like, I'm beating it. I was like, not as good as the first.
Yeah, I legitimately was traumatized. I was like, I'm not even gonna play the second one. Fuck that. Eventually, I got a memory card, and I didn't go back to it. Fuck that game. I love that game though. Fuck that game.
Yeah, but like I said, like when everyone's love of like Final Fantasy 7, they get like, oh, Cloud. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about him. It's about fucking dude. Fucking
Ares or whatever her name is.
The second, no, the first one is the one with the all the class characters. So it has like the 4 has like the main character is the dark
Dark what?
There's a he turns into a paladin, but he starts out as like a dark knight or a dark something. But I forgot what the class is, but basically he's like it's him and his partner is like the Lancer, the Dragoon.
Okay.
And then they like realize that they're hunting down these people who are like they have like the connection with like the Espers, like the gods.
Okay, yeah.
And he basically turns his back on the Empire, and then he becomes like a paladin.
Oh shit.
So it's a good storyline, and it's like fuck. I was like, and then the other one is the one where it's you get 6 is the one where you get you fight the Empire that has like the giant robot walkers, and you start out on their side as like a psychic chick, and then you go from there.
Yeah.
I remember too that one was sad because it has you meet like the pirate. But it's also funny because the one where it has like these crazy like cryptic things, like there's an opera house and you have to like go upstairs and like read all the notes and then like sing the song in the perfect order and stuff like that. And then to get like the best weapon in like a town of thieves, you have to like set a clock a certain time.
Okay.
And then like it's all these like kind of cool Easter eggs in that game that makes it like stand out. Yeah, and you fight a train too, which is probably one of my favorite enemies.
Oh, in the
you fight a ghost train.
In the Final Fantasy remake, the one that
you're like on the tracks fighting it, running with it at the same speed as it is beating it up.
But I was saying in the new remake that they did for the Final Fantasy one with Cloud, you fight a house, like a big ass house.
She ain't fight no train though.
Who knows? Might come back. Thomas the Train mod.
Oh man, we were talking about that, right?
What?
Every time I think of Thomas the Train, I think of the autistic dating show.
Yeah, the little kid. Yeah, we have the.
He's not a kid. That's
the guy.
Yeah, he's a guy.
The first episode, we have the.
Oh man, yeah, dating on the spectrum, man. That show. That's what we should have. We should promoted dating on the spectrum. I tell everyone about that show.
We should probably. Yeah, we can promote it because it's time for the second
outros.
Ad read.
All right.
Yeah, so, our first ad is gonna be, fucking. Emulator Imposium. It shows.
It is Rom Kingdom was the site I get my shit from.
Emulator Imposium.
It's fucking long gone now.
Sponsored by Rom. What is it called?
Rom Kingdom.
Rom Kingdom. It's coming back. We're the first ones to break the news. So use the promo code at the front door of the Cow Palace when it shows up.
Circa what?
Circa
2000, 2001.
Circa what is the promo code? So walk up to the Cow Palace, tell them Circa what. And they'll take $2 off of the $20 entry fee. So
that shit was free. Let me tell you,
it's not free anymore.
It's not anymore.
It got canceled without any payment.
That was our version of like the hippie summer of love.
Pay people to
free music and free emulators.
Support the pirate movement. But yeah. Tell them Death by Exile 101 podcast sent you there.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other ad read?
Love on the Spectrum,
Love
dude.
on the Spectrum.
Netflix. Watch that show. It's about autistic people trying to find love with other autistic people. They're all Aussies too, so
You got the little twang in their accent.
gives the spectrum a little more spectrumy, if you ask me. But yeah, it's
You look so. I wish you could see Art's face. He looks so happy.
dude. It's also it's sincere though. Like it's since they know what they did. It's sincere, but it's also funny.
Oh yeah, they love the Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh my god, that episode is so funny.
Yeah, that was episode 3. This is episode 3.
He's like,
Oh my
god.
Episode 1 Art. If you want to hear what Art is talking about, listen to episode 1. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in there.
No, it's like the lost episode, I think.
No, I'm pretty sure we got it in there.
Oh my god.
Sure. CCP didn't get that episode.
Man.
Nor God's malfunctioning things. But yeah, this was episode 3 of Death by Exile Podcast 101. Hopefully it is. But yeah, we'll catch you guys later. Subscribe, like, share it to people you know, and leave a comment telling us what you liked, what you didn't like. We really don't care, but we'd like to see.
Throw that hard R in there.
No. Thank you. All right. Have a good one.